Welcome to a new Unreal Engine 5 step-by-step tutorial. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to add a sprint ability to your character. The sprint will depend on the character's stamina, and will manage its display in a HUD. Hi, I'm working on Dungeon Forge, Legacy, an RPG, and sharing my game dev tips with you. If you're ready to level up your game development skills, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up to support the channel. By the end of this tutorial, you'll know how to add a sprint ability to your Paragon characters. Let's start by adding an input to toggle between jogging and sprinting. As explained in my previous video, Unreal Engine introduced a new input system starting with version 5.1. Each character action is tied to an input action, like IA_spellcast for casting spells. Let's create a new input action named IA_sprint. Ensure the value type is set to digital bool, which handles simple key presses, as opposed to axis inputs. You'll also need an input mapping context. If you're following the series, open the existing one. Otherwise, create a new one, referring to my previous video, Character Series 6, How to Add a Spell Cast Ability. The context holds all interactions and their key bindings. Add the mapping we just created by clicking the plus button and selecting IA_sprint from the list. Then, assign the key to trigger the sprint. I'll use left shift. With the input set up, let's handle their activation in the character. Open the player character blueprint for your Paragon character. If you just created the context, add it in the begin play event. Add an event triggered by pressing the sprint key by typing IA_sprint and selecting the event node. The started output triggers on key press, while completed triggers on release. In the Components tab, drag and drop the character movement component while holding Ctrl to create a get node. We'll modify its max walk speed property. When the key is pressed, the speed will be set to sprint speed. Create a variable called sprint speed to store this value. Copy-paste the set node and connect it to the completed output. When the key is released, the speed reverts to jogging speed. Create a variable called jog speed. Compile and set the values, 300 for jog speed and 500 for sprint speed. Copy the jog nodes. Pass them at the end of the begin play event. Add a Boolean variable named isSprinting to track whether the character is sprinting. Drag and drop this variable onto the output of the previous node to create a set node and its connection. Check the box to indicate sprinting. Repeat for the completed output, but leave the box unchecked. Also, add a float variable named stamina for stamina management. These variables will be used later. Set the default value to 100. Compile, save, and test. Pressing left shift makes the character move faster, and releasing it slows him down. Unreal Engine automatically adjusts the animation speed to match the foot movements with the ground speed, preventing a sliding effect. Before moving to stamina and HUD management, join our growing community by subscribing and giving a thumbs up if you enjoy this video. Now, let's create the HUD. After creating UI and HUD folders, right-click and select Blueprint class, then search for HUD. Select HUD and name it My HUD. Create a user widget blueprint named W_MyHUD to define what's displayed on screen. Open My HUD. Add a custom event named DisplayHUD. and create a variable widget myHUD of type w_myHUD, object reference. First, check if this variable exists using an isValidFolk node, in case displayHUD is called multiple times. If it's not valid, add a createWidget node and select the w_myHUD class. Drag widget myHUD to feed the output of createWidget. Then, drag widget myHUD again with Ctrl and add an isInViewport node followed by a branch node to check if the HUD is already displayed. Drag widget myHUD one more time with Ctrl and add an Add to Viewport node, connected to the false output of the branch. This displays the HUD if it's not already added. Add a comment using the C shortcut. Finally, call the displayHUD event in the beginPlay event. Compile and save. Now, let's design the HUD. Open w_myHUD in the designer. Add a canvas panel as a container. Then add a text widget. In its details, set the text to stamina and position it at x equals 50, y equals 50. Add a progress bar to represent available stamina. Position it at x equals 200, y equals 50, with a size x equals 200. Optionally, change its color. In the % field, click Bind to create binding. Unreal creates a function to calculate the percentage in real time. Add a getPlayerCharacter node and cast to your Paragon character. Use a getStamina node divided by 100, as the progress bar expects a value between 0 and 1. Connect everything. Optionally, to add a frame around the progress bar, select the progress bar in the hierarchy, right-click, and choose Wrap With and then Overlay. Add a border widget to the overlay and move it to the first position to render behind the progress bar. In the border's details, check Fill horizontally and Fill vertically. Do the same for the progress bar. Set the border's padding to -3 for a 3-pixel frame. Compile and save. Before testing, tell Unreal to use myHUD instead of the default HUD. Go to Window World Settings, and in HUD class, replace HUD with myHUD. Test, the HUD displays correctly. Verify that the stamina variable is properly reflected by changing its value in the player character. After compiling and relaunching, the display is correct. Now, let's handle dynamic stamina changes. In the player character, add an event tick node. When sprinting, stamina decreases to 0, otherwise, it recovers to its maximum. Drag and drop isSprinting and connect it to a select float node. For input A, create a variable stamina loss per second. For input B, create stamina recovery per second. To ensure consistent results regardless of frame rate, multiply the output by delta seconds. Add the result to the stamina variable. Then use a clamp float node to limit the value between 0 and 100. Set the result to stamina. If stamina reaches 0, switch to jog mode. Copy the nodes for jogging and paste them. Optionally, you can create a custom event named jogging with these nodes to avoid duplication. You can then call it here and in the begin play. Set values, e.g., stamina loss per second equals -15 and stamina recovery per second equals 20. Sprinting is only possible if stamina is above a certain threshold. Before sprinting, check if stamina is at least 15 using a branch node. Compile and test. When idle, stamina recovers; when sprinting, it decreases. And there you have it. Your character can now sprint with stamina management. At 0, the character switches to jog and can only sprint again if stamina exceeds 15. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and learned something new. If so, please subscribe and give a thumbs up to support the channel. The goal of this Paragon character series is to help you progress and create a character capable of all essential actions in a video game. Thanks for following along, and see you soon.